felt like they were extra forgotten. I wasn't prepared.
Trees and weeds are the only living things that visit the old headstones at 2 forgotten cemeteries.
Who knows what's there?
True, until Everett Warren decided to take a walk.
I'm guessing around 100, but could be more.
Warren, a veteran, has served his country before. He says each military marker he finds
This is for sure a World War I veteran over here.
is a reminder that his service isn't done.
Move that off and see who's there. Isaac Smith, private in the 331st Service Battalion. My gut reaction is that there's a lot more in here.
One cemetery unrecognizable from the gravel road.
There's no telling what's in there though.
The historic African-American Rogan Cemetery is a 2-minute walk away. Each of these final resting spots significant but forgotten.
I know that they served their country through some horrific times. I know also that these particular veterans in here, being African American, they also had to battle other things. So they serve their country and then they come home and they kind of get left here.
The cemeteries are wedged between 2 others, and the differences between them are easy to spot.
You know, they're just kind of a product of what was going on in that time, but it's carried over into this time.
During his search for headstones, he came across garbage, bottles, even the hood of a car.
Usually when you find stuff that's kind of like this, it is out in the middle of nowhere.
But that isn't the case here. These cemeteries are on the outskirts of Oklahoma City.
The height of some of these weeds in here, it looks like it's been years since it was ever touched.
This Saturday, Warren is asking all to come out for these forgotten soldiers.
Shock that it's saddening that these graves can be just kind of left.
He says these soldiers left to serve their country, and it's time for their country to serve them.
These are more graves just kind of waiting to be discovered.
Maureen Wirtz, Tulsa's Channel 8.
And I think it'll be a great treat for Marshall. Where'd Marshall go? All right, Marshall, come over here, would you?
In the crowd, Marshall Tate is just like every other teenager. He likes hanging out with friends.
Excited to see me.
I play the job of
Chaperone.
Yes, around.
Flirting with girls.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Julie.
But this moment, a 16th birthday party, is something Marshall's parents, Tammy and Kenny, never thought he could have.
Guess what day it is?
And while all eyes are on Marshall, there's one pair that helped change his life.
He is my therapy dog as much as he is Marshall's, just because being the mom of autistic kids is tough. It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
2-year-old, 125-pound Gail is a rescued mix of Newfoundland, Labrador, patience, and love.
This is strange, but he gets it. You may not think he does, but he knows exactly what his purpose is.
But to get to this point requires 2 years of training.
Wait.
And the Burgess family is in that process, training Rochester for their son, Orion.
Okay, you guys can go ahead and put him up.
When he interacts with Rochester, something happens between them. I'm not sure what it is. I can't really describe it, but my son starts enjoying life.
A 4-legged friend giving Michelle and Mike a vision they haven't seen before.
Good job.
Their son smiling.
Anticipated being on disability and not being able to have a job, and maybe just sitting at home and doing nothing his whole life because he can't interact with people.
Service dogs for autistic children don't come cheap. To buy a fully trained dog could cost upwards of $10,000. And when Tammy tried to get one from a charity for Marshall, she says she was told her son needed to have another disability to be eligible.
Is not disabled enough. Yeah, it was hard because I knew that he needed it.
Get your dogs. Put them on leashes.
So she and the Burgesses turned to Spirit Animal Ranch.
Now, for him to stay focused on us, we have to praise him. So you got to keep talking to him like we were doing with the hide and go seek.
Rescuing their dogs and taking on the training.
You're going to walk in the middle of all of this.
Starting when they were just a couple of months old.
Give me 5. That was good.
He was on blood pressure medicine to slow down his heart rate because he would get so worked up, and then he was on another medicine because he was like a zombie, and it was just a roller coaster ride.
But within the first year of getting their service dogs, Orion got down to taking one medication.
The dog, I think, is going to change Orion's life.
Hey, Marshall. Happy birthday.
TV star. We made Karsten a TV star.
And Marshall learned how to handle large crowds.
Can you get through?
And for the first time was able to have a birthday party with all of his classmates.
You just kind of have to watch it and go, wow.
Even state lawmakers are realizing therapy for autistic children is crucial for their development. One bill requiring insurance companies to cover autism treatment has gone through the House. And while that doesn't include service dogs, both families hope that someday that will change.
I needed a brain break.
You needed a brain break?
Because, look, is this all Gail's hair?
It's not mine.
And Gail isn't done rescuing people. When he's not with Marshall, he's visiting special needs students in schools.
Bye, Gail.
Making a difference in dozens of other kids' lives.
I was kind of frustrated, and I usually come here to cool off and get back to normal so I won't get upset and yell and scream.
A 1 and a 2, get down and get funky.
Happy birthday to you. He won't be singing along or dancing it up with the ladies, but his paws are all over this moment in Marshall's life. Birthday, dear Marshall. Posing the question, who rescued who? Maureen Wirtz, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Thousands of stories have been told in this theater, but ours begins when the curtains are closed and the lights are off.
And they really want to communicate, they come in strong and clear.
This is News Channel 8. Would you like to talk to them?
Welcome to the historic Constantine Theater. And just like the stories that have been told on its stage, the Constantine Theater has a story of its own.
You can just feel it, and you can feel it in this place.
Sighs over a microphone.
So then I turned the microphone off, and it was about at my side. And then we heard it again, and then I said, that wasn't me.
The sounds of locked doors opening.
For it to happen 3 times like that, and all the same sound, and all like the front door. That was what was really strange to me.
A child talking in an empty room.
And all 3 of us heard what sounded like a child's voice. I would say probably about 7, 8 years old maybe.
The earliest known record of hauntings here goes back to 1905.
Is there anybody here that would like to communicate with us tonight?
The latest? Possibly when we shot this story, but we'll get to that in a minute.
We have plenty of gadgets around here for you to play with. Nothing will harm you. We're just here to communicate with you.
We have base readings going to show where the electromagnetic fields are the highest, and so we can debunk electrical, interference and stuff like that from the lights and such.
This is how the Nowata-Bartlesville paranormal investigators set up when they're asked to investigate.
We always try to debunk before we call anything paranormal. If it can't be debunked, that's the only time it's ever called paranormal.
Jeremy and his team say old buildings most of the time are just old. And those floating orbs, dust.
Mist is an apparition forming.
It was pitch dark like this when his team captured these videos at the Constantine. In all of these, you see shadows or mist moving.
If you don't have a smoker or somebody vaping or fog in the building, you got something supernatural going on with the mist.
Is there anything you'd like to share with us? The news.
Then they brought out this, the spirit box. It rapidly scans radio frequencies to create a white noise.
Tell us your name. Who are we speaking with?
Allowing spirits to use those frequencies to communicate in real time.
The news.
And they had that little box, and we thought we heard something. I did hear the news. I don't know, Dre, you heard the news as well, right? Did you hear that?
I heard it.
For several minutes, we heard sounds and tones from the spirit box.
How long have you been here?
Sometimes when they're really active and they really want to communicate, they come in strong and clear. With these, it's kind of a hit and miss.
Could it be a trick of light? Or just a noise fighting through the static? Maybe. But if you ask these people, someone is still performing at the Constantine. Maureen Wirtz, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Verified. 1, 2, 3, go.
Their uniforms, training, and job title are the same. But there's one major difference happening at the Army base in Fort Sill. For the first time, women are earning the title Artillery Cannoneer Crew Members.
I wanted a combat MOS ever since I was a kid. You know, they didn't allow females when I first wanted to join, so I waited, and then it finally opened up, and now I get to, pave the way and finally do what I love.
I joined the Army for my family, actually, to help support them.
It's been hard, it's been tough, but it's possible.
These women are firing howitzers and are the first women to do so since the Army opened combat roles to women about 6 months ago. And for Rosa Salveda, there's another first happening.
Well, no one in my family has ever been in the military, so I just wanted to be that first one to get out there and help our country.
These men and women are going through the training to be able to quickly and accurately fire the shell where it needs to go.
Oh, it's definitely like you pull the string and it's such a simple, just like maneuver, and it causes such a big reaction.
One of the reasons why women weren't in these roles is because these shells are 96 pounds and that they're so close to the front line.
I think it's awesome. We're not here to change the MOS. We're here to actually, prove that we can actually do it. We don't want to change anything. We just want to prove to the males that we can actually do it.
Why do you think women maybe have shied away from the military before?
I think it's a lot of the physical stamina that most people think that it takes.
Captain Cassandra Steiner has been proving that women can do anything in the Army for about 7 years.
You get to shoot stuff out of the sky. I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That's what I want to do.
She operates the C-RAM in a matter of seconds. It detects enemy fire and shoots it down. She's had 500 successful intercepts and over 3,000 successful warnings.
When people will say, I was right over here and you saved my life, that there's nothing in the world that can replace that feeling.
Steiner says she's been a woman in a leadership role for some time and hasn't had any problems for a couple of reasons.
And they haven't given me any pushback whatsoever. I mean, they know I would kick them in the throat if that, if that was going to be the case. But
while Rosa says she's proud to serve her country, she's also proud to be an example for her daughter.
I don't want her to ever feel like she cannot do whatever she wants. And seeing her mom, I didn't come in as an 18-year-old, I came in older. I want her to feel like, yeah, my mom did it as an older individual, and I want to be able to go ahead and shoot for my goals too.
And making a huge impact along the way.
3 rounds set. Fire mission!
Maureen Wirtz, Tulsa's Channel 8.
A tangled web of thorns, flowers, and barbed wire fill a small plot in a pasture. I don't know what that is. From a distance, it's hard to spot, but up close, the long-forgotten grave site stands out. Supposed to be a plaque here with the kids' names that died.
Buried here in Pryor are the bodies of 7 orphan children who died in the early 1900s. We knew we needed to find out who they were.
Now I'm going to go off the tripod.
Yeah, let's use the tripod to...
I'm not doing this with disrespect.
I see the plaque.
Okay.
You see it back there?
Erected in memory of these children who died while residing at Whitaker State Orphans Home.
The ages of the children buried here range from 15 to 1. Charlie Hamlin, 15. Bertie Frazier, 14. Jimmy Brown, 11. Irene Crumpler, 7. Fred Dane, 4.
Myrtle M. Morgan, 2, and Howard F. Morgan, just 1 year old. The history of the orphans is buried in the archives at the Pryor Library. In 1982, the state outlawed institutionalized housing and cleared out the Whitaker State Children's Home.
Probably the most helpful article that I read was the one that was written in 1931.
Well cared for newspaper clippings filled the box dedicated to the Whitaker State Home, articles calling the children unfortunates and destitutes.
There is a small cemetery that is maintained for the children who died while residing at the home. The original tombstone has been maintained but is weather-worn.
Original markings and the flat covers are still there.
In our search, we found Mary Oakley, who stayed at Whitaker in the 1960s. She helped raise money to install this new headstone. The original headstones buried underneath the weeds.
It makes me feel sad because these children, this is their last resting place. This is their home. This is where they go to spend forever till resurrection morning.
We're with Channel 8, and we're doing a story about a cemetery that...
The Oklahoma Military Department is in charge of the Thunderbird Youth Academy. When we stopped by to talk about the cemetery, we were told to contact media relations. The fate of children living here in the early 1900s was often indentured servitude, or the lucky few reuniting with families.
You need to take care of what you own. You need to take care of the past. You need to save your history.
Purple flowers among the thorns surround the graves of the children, unwanted alive and forgotten when dead. Maureen Wirtz, Tulsa's Channel 8.